online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yes, another episode of Limitless. This is episode 4, page 44. Greetings, all fans. Please follow us on YouTube, iTunes. We're on SoundCloud. Definitely listen wherever you do listen or watch. Please rate and review the show. We love to hear from you guys. And if you tweeted us, please use the hashtag ABTVLimitless. Awesome. Well, let's just start it off. I'm your host, JB Zimmerman. You can find me at JB_Zimmerman on Twitter and Instagram. Joining me, we've got a new panel.
Hello, I'm new. I'm Amanda Richards. You can find me at Amanda After 31, which is Amanda FTA 31. I can't even say
that's
it.
amazing.
I should probably change it.
No, I know. I'm saying like, wow, I thought my last name was complicated, and I'm just like,
it still is.
It's so secretive that it's something I just gotta keep because it means something.
Oh wow,
which you'll find out one day.
That's amazing.
One day.
My name means something too. Really?
Great. I have props to that.
Yes.
What is your name?
What is it?
The mystery.
Is it Emily Kraudel? That is what it is. At
nice.
Emily Kraudel on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. Nice. I'm not bashing anybody's name. I've heard that's been happening lately.
Has it?
Yes.
It? Wow.
It's
a little aggressive. Fair enough.
It is, yeah.
Well, we start off the episode. Cut to Brian. Obviously, he's having fun with NZT a little bit. He's using it to get into clubs, seduce ladies. I mean, I can't say I blame him for doing that. How'd you guys feel from a lady's perspective?
Same way. Why would you not?
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
I mean, yes, I'm a woman, but I would do the same thing.
We just have those womanly powers, though. We can just do it without.
Yeah, we can get into clubs anyway. No, I'm just
kidding. Exactly. I'm like, nah. All he was doing, I don't know if I need NZT to. It's like every weekend. No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, beyond
I don't blame him.
Beyond the obvious of just using it to seduce people or to hook up. He definitely. I think that added element was getting in the club. Like it was a male bouncer, obviously, and just sort of the way he was carrying himself. There is a science to that. There is a science behind confidence and charisma and all that. So
and there's a game to those clubs, especially in LA. I feel like or in Vegas. Like you have to play some type of crazy game in order to get in. It's so interesting to watch. Like sometimes I'll just sit back and watch what people do, and it's really some people are like, I'll pay you, dude. I'll give you money. And some girls are like, so hi, nice to meet you. It's just I think it's so interesting how people try to get into clubs.
Totally.
It's amazing.
This guy was like, well, I'm not kidding. This is verbatim.
Another anecdote. Get ready. Brace yourself.
4 girls come up to the club, and he's like, and the bouncer's like, well, you have to be really pretty. And you guys have got that down. And then he just like walked him in the door. I'm like, wow. Is this real?
Wow.
Yeah.
Probably.
And then
not.
the guy I was with just stared at him for like 5 minutes, and he goes, go ahead. It was so weird.
Yeah, it's random. But back to the show.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Well, no, I think that Brian definitely takes that through everything he does. He kind of does the do first, apologize later method, which definitely tends to work. We see him get into it a little bit more this episode.
Right.
He gets his first case right off the bat in the beginning. Nas basically surprises him and is like, you're going to get this big case. And it turns out that it's sorting through the trash. At least that day. He just gets right to it and finds that there is something suspicious about how many milk cartons there are. Obviously, it's a little too much for. He finds the lactose pills, and figures out that there's scratches on all of these that, when lined up, make a sequence and kind of builds out to a whole blueprint.
Yeah.
Which is pretty intense. I mean, I can't believe he found like the scratches and like made that a visual diagram. Like that is intense. I mean, I thought
it was weird that he put him on a milk carton, on his milk cartons.
Well, no, I mean, I thought that was kind of a clever idea that they stacked up. I feel like the leap, though, from when he had them lined out to a full, like, drone blueprint was a bit much.
Yeah. Because I think in the first leap was like, oh, okay, he's like, drinks a lot of milk, you know? But he's like, oh, there's scratches on everything. They're numbers. That even leap was like...
the numbers. Yeah. I mean, I wish they went into that a little bit more. I mean, because it showed was just like little etch marks, and then all of a sudden it was a blueprint of like a bomber.
And it makes me think about how the showrunners and the writers of the show have to think of that, have to come up with these. You know, this is a guy who's on a pill that lets him use every brain cell in his brain. Right. And these people have to come up with that, and they have to almost be, I mean, I know they're not, but they have to almost be that smart. I think that's just so clever.
Yeah.
To come up with this milk carton thing, I mean, like, who comes up with that?
Yeah.
It's great.
No, it was definitely an original thing. I've never really seen the milk carton trash thing in a procedural show, so props to that.
Kind of matches Brian, kind of.
And the props and costume people are amazing, who come up with like all that trash, and like in the past episodes when he has the shredded pieces of paper. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible.
That's funny when he was like the crust white strip, and he like couldn't get it off his finger. That actually
so gross.
I actually took one of those, and I thought that it went out the window, and my brother was like, "What is this?" Because it flew back in the car, and he picked it up, and he's like, yeah,
that's gross. Even when you're related to the person, that's your brother. Like, he is touching a complete stranger.
Yeah,
that's been in the trash. It wasn't like recently thrown away. It was like, that had been discarded for quite some time.
That's
very gross. A lot of trash sifting.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
there was another thing that I thought was really cool. A theme that I haven't seen in any of the Limitless episodes, and it was it came out I think more towards the end, but when Lynn is talking and Brian's doing like exactly what he's saying as he's narrating it, and then also whenever Rebecca goes to the art gallery and Brian's like looking through files. I don't know. There's a cool overlapping thing. Yeah, circle.
Yeah. I mean, so through the whole milk carton thing, we meet Zhang, who's selling secrets. He's a spy. There's a lot of shroud of mystery here, and that sort of takes the route where Rebecca and the other agents follow, which leaves Brian to kind of do his own thing. He obviously gets ambushed by Mr. Sands again. Really intimidating dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he's super classy and obviously enjoys a nice glass of whiskey.
Yeah, exactly.
As anyone would. But if I saw him in my apartment, I would freak out. I mean, Brian is very calm and collect, like seeing that he had just broken in so calmly. But
yes.
I would not have been. I would be like,
well, at this point in the series, he's used to that type of stuff happening.
Yeah, classic Mr. Sands.
After that thing happened with Bradley Cooper's character, if I were him, I'd be like, well, here's another weird thing happening to me.
No, that's
here's another guy breaking into my apartment.
Good point. I mean, he is valuable. I mean, the fact that Mr. Sands and all these other people are kind of, I mean, he has the FBI, but they are sort of, I would say, lower than the whole Eddie Mora, whatever you want to call it, like
mafia.
I mean,
world.
It's sort of like a secret. I mean, I don't know how big his organization is. He's obviously got a lot of puppets that he's masterminding. But whatever that is, it's clearly above the FBI, which we generally think is pretty high up.
Yeah,
if not the top.
Clearly, they're not, which is terrifying.
I think just because, just because he has. I mean, they wouldn't be on the up if they didn't have a guy inside and a guy that they had all this like blackmail on.
Right.
No, exactly. And speaking of blackmail, that's what Mr. Sands does to Brian. He blackmails him so they can see how far along the FBI is. Like, how much do they really know about NZT? How close are they?
And he doesn't even know if he's working with Eddie Mora or if he's just doing this on his own. How can he not?
Who? Wait, Mr. Sands?
Mr. Sands, yeah. I mean, he knows that he has to get a shot, and so he's trusting him. But that's
right.
why
I mean, I guess he's never
it.
seen Mr. Sands and Eddie Mora
I know.
together, yeah.
chilling like over
Exactly.
beers. But I think he can assume that whatever, like Mr. Sands didn't come into his life before he met Eddie Mora, and obviously. Eddie Mora is very high up. He's a senator. He's a presidential candidate or possible. So
but he questions him.
He's
too.
more important than
Brian
Mr. Sands.
questions
Mr. Sands
him.
is definitely a fixer. Ray Donovan type, it seems.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But no, it was interesting that he kind of was making fun at if the FBI had planted that recording device in Brian's house. It was very far back, even though it looks so high tech. He was like, it's like 5 years ago. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they may have bugged someone before you. So it was a nice little jab at the FBI, sort of distancing them from how far ahead Eddie Mora and co are.
Right.
So that was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mr. Sands definitely has a wide reach. Obviously, he extends that to Brian's dad. We see him, because he didn't provide the files, breaking into Nas' office. Obviously, that is pretty tough to do. High security, FBI, high personnel that's under lock and key. It's a very guarded situation. What did you guys think about that break-in when he did the fingerprints and everything? How did you guys think about that?
I mean, he's on a drug that lets him use every brain cell in his body. Like, for some reason, I just can't get that out of my head when they said that in the first episode. So I feel like he can do anything on that drug. Yeah. So, yes, it was cool, but did I believe that he couldn't do it? Absolutely not. For sure he can do it.
Oh,
he can do whatever he wants. So I think that it was more of like a moral or morality type issue within him. Like, do I do this? When do I do this? I'm trying to gain their trust. But I like when his opposite, or whoever, him talking to himself said, is it going to be easier 5 days from now when they trust you even more and you have a better connection with them? So I like the way that they were playing with morality and just kind of what is right and what is wrong. Because the drug can let you do anything.
Exactly.
And you can use it for good or evil, essentially.
Absolutely. And that's why, Brian makes a compelling character to follow, because he is innately good. I mean, everything we've seen thus far has shown that. And an important distinction that you were kind of alluding to is that it's not like the drug makes you a superhero. You can't just, fly through walls or see stuff that's not there. It lets you be at your absolute full potential. So using every single brain cell in your body.
I was going to say it was just really convenient that his friend was bad at him in the past. You cannot fake someone's fingerprints. Yeah, you can. Oh, what's up now?
Well, yeah, exactly. There's definitely a lot of ways around it.
I'm wondering if, something like that will happen to me. In the past, remember you had to watch that lizard on YouTube that
would be
changed
amazing.
Colors.
And I love that he said, if you could make 10 minutes feel like an entire day, what would you do with the extra time? And that kind of gave me a real idea of what it feels like to be on the drug. So you're doing these tasks and it feels like it's an entire day. It's been 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Right. Okay.
Which is crazy.
That was at the beginning when he was conversing with other very, very smart people.
Right.
Right. That's very, very
on the
interesting.
message.
Since you're new, we had earlier in the season, we said, what would you do if you were on NCT? I'm going to have to ask you.
Oh my gosh. What would I do?
Because the 10 minutes, that seems like a whole day drug is awesome.
I don't even
between that or NCT, I don't even know what I would choose. That is equally as good in my mind.
I think I would, sounds really weird, but I think I would learn how to play the piano. I've always wanted to learn how to play the piano or some type of instrument so that I could just sit down and just play it, or read a piece of sheet music and just play it. I just think that would be the coolest thing. That would be my first thing. Before
Amanda,
I start saving the world, that would be my first thing.
I don't mean burst your bubble. I love your humble aspirations, but you can do that without NCT.
Not me. Not my brain.
Fair enough.
You sit down. It's
I've tried. I took lessons when I was 7.
This is the first scale. Da, 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 da.
I could play one song and it was not very good.
Was it 3 Blind Mice?
Probably.
Is that a song? No,
well, speaking of saving the world, that's exactly what Brian's next buddy, Arthur, is trying to do.
Yes.
He was originally part of a big conglomerate, or co-founder of a big medical company, we can assume, called Claxion. And obviously there was a bit of a troubled relationship with the other co-founder, and they parted ways. The other one, Wilkinson, took it to great heights, bought him out for $19,000. Now it sounds like the company is a $1 billion firm. So, he may have missed out on a little bit, but he, too, had very humble aspirations. He just wanted to help people. He wanted to use his knowledge to further help humans with their health, what have you. A philanthropist, if you will.
Yeah. It was weird. I don't know. I kind of felt like Brian was really disinterested in him in the beginning, in Arthur, and I don't know, he was just kind of cocky and blowing him off.
No pun intended. He's kind of a mousy character.
Yeah.
Like he's just the way he was acting it seemed
great
very
character actor. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was just like, I don't know, it was kind of dislikeful to Brian.
And Brian was just
Emily,
I don't know, I just took a shot in the dark. When he's like, you did this to the mouse. He's like, yeah, I just kind of took a shot in the dark. No big deal.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, no big deal. What I love about the show, too, is that Brian is such a doofy looking guy, but he's saying all these extremely intelligent things when he's on NCT, and that's obviously why his parents and his ex-girlfriend were so confused when he started saying all these things. But I just love how the writers have this guy who is so just doofy, acting like saying these amazing intelligent things. I think it's great, and his charm is perfect.
Yeah, no, he plays it very well. He owns the character to the extreme where he does, you still know that he knows what he's saying, but it's interesting because he says it in a way that's just he's still Brian Finch.
Exactly.
So it's a fine line that he definitely navigates well.
You could see how his family and his friends are like, this is not
what?
not you. What are you on?
Why'd you in a sweater and playing guitar? That's right.
And I love when he came in with that shirt that said female body inspector for FBI.
Yes.
I love how they're keeping the humor within the show. It's not turning into a complete procedural drama. I love that there's moments of humor that really seem to...
And I'm watching
Exactly. Yeah, the whole Mike and I thing.
Mike and I, that was my favorite part of the entire episode.
Well, no, I mean, he kept calling the one guy Mike for the longest time, but, having the main punchline come later was really great. And I love when they did that whole diagram thing. Exactly. It was real name, unknown. Real name for Ike. I heard it once, don't remember.
Yeah.
It's doesn't matter.
It reminds me of Key and Peele whenever they have the football players and it's you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it's stuff like that not only make it more unique as a show, but also keep the perspective with Brian. And it's, they do a lot with the color temperature and making it seem like we are in his mind, sort of, when he does see his other self and they're having a Brian to Brian conversation, it seems like we are the other Brian at times. So that's a cool sort of dynamic that's not really in any other show. And
Frank would be so sad right now because the storyline that Rebecca's dad was on NCT is finally back. And that's pretty exciting. After so long.
Well, I know. It
was really funny to me because it was previously on Limitless, and it's back to episode 1. Do you guys remember this? Whenever they said that Rebecca's dad was on drugs. Now we're gonna touch it again.
Yes. Yeah. Frank totally missed it. He's been prophesizing for that. He's been hoping and praying. He'll be back next week, so that'll be good. Yes. But back to this episode, we get, after he ditches Mike and Ike, I love that.
I do too.
He breaks in yet again. That's his sort of the classic Brian move, and does what he always does. He kind of BS's his way into places, steals a wallet, gets past security, and is poking around to find the mouse, thinking that, one of the company partners to Wilkinson who is now stabbed and dead, may have killed him to get, the rest of the company, like tracing the motivations. So once he's in the lab, he gets caught and tries to BS his way through, unsuccessfully this time. And very calmly, the person that catches him just like, oh, okay. Boop. Sound the alarms.
Yeah, it's perfect. Because even though he was saying all these smart things about what he was about to do, which may have been true, this woman's like, this kid would never know that.
Exactly.
That is a script that he memorized. So I'm going to call security now.
Yeah, and it probably is. I mean, it's probably something he like saw on the walls in the hallway walking in.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's, again, a great example of him knowing the right things, but still being Brian Finch. Like, he is not an FBI trained agent. He was in like a leather jacket and t-shirt in a science lab with like all these rats. Like, it didn't matter what he said. He would definitely like have caused a red flag to happen.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really get out of that situation.
How do you like catch all the rats? That's hard.
Yeah, no, I mean, that would be, it's not a one-person job, that's for sure.
Are those two guys in suits, like, why are they the ones trying to get all the rats?
Yeah.
That was also funny.
Exactly.
It was great to bring in the humor.
Definitely humorous, and another unique example. Like, I've never seen a show where they did that. It's not just like a quick breakout, let me hit the laundry chute and fly out of here. It's, I'm stuck. Like, he doesn't have all the answers. He's very calculating. He can sort of see the next few steps, but he's not perfect, and he improvises a lot, and so that's why I think the writing is so creative. Is in the scenario that they're in, he finds a sort of Brian way to get out. It's not always the best or most effective or prettiest way,
right?
But it definitely leads him to the next move.
Yeah,
and he does have charm. Yeah, that's the one thing he's got going for him. He doesn't have all the FBI, tactics, but he does have charm. That's for sure. And that shines through in the screen, too. Yeah. With the actor.
Yeah.
I love Jake McDorman.
Yeah.
Well, there's just so much going on. He is, even when he's stuck, he's on the phone to Rebecca, and there's still, like, mice flying everywhere, and he's, like, shooing them. So, they do find a way to fill everything. Like, there's so much going on, and it helps us realize, as the audience, how much he is calculating on a second-to-second basis.
Yeah. There must have been no Bruce upstairs.
Yes, there must have not been Bruce.
I guess there's no Bruce. Yeah. Can we talk about him and Rebecca? And what we think's going on with them? Because I think she's in love with him, hands down. About 4 times when I was watching it, I was like, she's in love with him. It's kind of ridiculous. The fact that she gave him, when he had like the opportunity to look up 40,000 lins or to go on the case that he wants to go on, I mean, it was just like, the chemistry was ridiculous. She's in love with him. Right? Do we think this? Or am I the only person that thinks this?
I definitely think
crazy?
they're... no, I don't think you're crazy. I think they're definitely setting it up for a romantic situation down the line. I hope they don't rush
Frank
into it.
Frank thought it was going to happen in the first episode.
Yeah, Frank is like really
He's like, they're going to kiss right now. He was like, he wrote it down and showed me, and I was like, no, they're not.
I wanted her so bad to invite him to her dad's gallery.
Right.
I wanted that to be like a moment of like friendship and companionship, just being like, this is something hard for me. Can you come with me?
And they see her giant
And then she goes by herself.
Right. Well, they work very well together. She obviously cares about him. She gets him out of the mice lab jam pretty easily.
No, it's really good that he can care. He cares for someone in the FBI that much, because then it puts like such a big, like, raises the
you can't sift through people's trash with just anyone.
No.
So.
And did you notice that was the first time I saw her character really smile and seem like she was having fun when she was going through the trash with him. Right. She was like, well, it looks like you chew on your pen. Hey, she just looked like she was having the time of her life, and I think that's she's the type of person that's what makes her happy.
That shows you
detective work with someone you love.
Yeah. And that shows it doesn't matter where you are. Even if you're in a dumpster, you're with the one you love.
The one.
That's
exactly.
right.
You can
anything can happen.
Yeah, that's right. You're heaven. Yeah.
But yeah, just to wrap up this episode, we find who really killed Wilkinson, framing Arthur. It was the lawyer who all this time hadn't filed the will change to put all of this guy's company's wealth, basically, and his accumulated billions to his kids. So he cut a deal on the side with them and figured out this nasty little scheme. How'd you guys think about how the whole because that's kind of the end of the story arc. I mean, there was the Zhang thing, but that sort of happened on the sideline. In terms of payoff.
Yeah. I thought it was actually good. I liked the payoff at the end.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was simple. It was simple. And sweet, and there's a lot of other things that were bigger going on. So
that's what I was thinking, especially since now he has to betray the FBI, and he hadn't had it come to betray them yet. And now that you're saying this is developing between Rebecca and him, that raises the stakes on how can I betray the FBI, especially when, like, of all time, she's helping me now. Right. Especially, like, rise to the level of, hey, is this the highest level you can be? Am I above Boyle? So, it's good timing for that. Boyle. So I think I was focused on that more. But, the lawyer thing's really cool with the kids and stuff. I mean,
it was a good, neat, as we say, procedural, story plot line completed.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that they kind of buttoned it up because I hope that they don't leave too many small loose ends like that. Right. We don't need it. Definitely keeps us going, but it's not like a pivotal thing that they need to nail this guy. Exactly. Yeah. Obviously, it's better that he's behind the bars because he was super shady, but.
Super shady. And chewed on his pen.
Yeah. No, I mean,
terrible.
It's definitely more bad habit. Yeah. Definitely more interesting to see Brian do his thing, breaking into the computer.
Right. That was my favorite part of the whole
the fingerprints thing I thought was very cool. Yeah. The only thing is when he got past that step, they did kind of go to the classic, like, oh, there's a password. Let me just guess what it is.
Yeah, well, I liked that, actually, because it wasn't like, I'm just going to guess. It was like raising what keys are used all the time.
Sort of. I mean, they kind of did, like, the letters, and that part was cool, but I feel like just seeing how, the keys being more worn than others, like, would you really be entering your password that many more times than typing other
I'll have to
keys?
go home and look at my computer now and see if it's...
it's just, that was the one thing that was like, the classic, like, TV show, let's hack the computer, let me just guess the passcode.
And it all happened so fast.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's a TV show and we have to edit for time, and it was a small thing, but I was just like, I wish they... did something a little bit more accurate to how hacking happens.
Works.
Yeah.
Other than...
I feel like that's too complicated, though, for an average audience to understand.
I mean, I don't know about it's hacking. Just the time frame, I think.
Right. Well, no, I mean, it's, again, small, hate to nitpick, but that was my one beef.
I liked how that was so overlapping when was talking, like I said before. And I liked how the word was mercy, because it's like, oh, man, I'm being a spy right now, and I never thought that I'd have to be a spy. And he's like saying how he doesn't think it was big decisions. It was just a lot of small decisions that added up, which can be intense. That's sad. He doesn't know he's making these small decisions that are all leading him one way, and then by the end you're in the dumpster.
No, he took a huge risk. Right. I mean, obviously his family's lives are in jeopardy, and even his own. I mean, I think Eddie Mora, I would never cross him ever, because I think clearly has more of, a presence around everyone than the FBI. Right. So it's interesting to see that he would rather do that. I mean, breaking into the FBI is a huge offense. He could definitely be in jail for the rest of his life for doing that.
Yes.
And although he took steps, the X-Lax and in the other guards' coffee, he could have easily been gotten caught. There may have been a camera in the room. Like, there could have been so many things, so many other variables that he can't calculate for.
Right.
But I loved when he was doing that and the other guy was giving the confession, that they were playing that side by side. For me, it really represented that, you get one guy to confess, you caught one bad guy, but there's still bad stuff going on.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
right in your office.
It meant something else to me, because whenever Wynn's saying that, like I was saying as well, I think that he's saying it made me feel sorry for him, for Wynn, for the guy
Right.
confessing because he didn't know that he was going to end up being a spy. He thinks of himself more as a patriot. Right. And it was, for me, that was what it was. So it was like Brian doesn't want to do these things, but now he has to because he's made so many small decisions leading up that there's no choice. Basically.
Yeah, he's definitely put in a difficult position. I mean, he's absolutely between a rock and a hard place. Like the FBI on one side and Eddie Mora is like mafia on the other. I mean, like he is very much a puppet right now, and I wonder how long it's going to be before he kind of gets more cards that he can play.
Or before he has to decide between his brain burning or feeling like it's on fire and hurting all the people that he
not
loves.
the best
No,
option.
that would be bad.
Yeah,
Right?
it's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very much addicted to this drug. Like, he is a drug addict. Like, and
that sucks.
you know, NZT is one thing, but this antidote is the other. He is forced by the FBI to keep taking that, and so he will literally die if he doesn't keep doing whatever Eddie Mora wants.
Yeah.
So it's very, very intense right now.
And it's interesting that he said that he wanted that shot in the very, very beginning. Like, I think about it and I think if somebody gave me that opportunity, I don't know if I'd just be like, okay. I'd be like, wait, let me think about it for a minute. But maybe in that situation you felt like you couldn't.
Right.
You have this very powerful man telling you, you know, do you want to change your life? And what exactly did he say? Do you want to be something or become something? Maybe you feel like you can't.
Right.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, it's definitely the choice of a lifetime. I mean, I probably would have done that. I mean, it helps that...
You would have said yes?
I think I would have said yes. I mean, it's
Interesting.
being in that situation where you are the most, like, hungover, sick state that you could possibly be in. Like, that is misery. And then offer this sort of golden ticket to everything you wanted and more.
And
But it isn't everything you wanted and more. Well, we're learning.
Right.
Yeah,
We're
true.
learning
I mean,
it may not
the
be.
plot thickens. It's definitely, you know,
And-
reality is not as nice.
And it was so interesting also when she came in and she found that article that helped him solve the main procedural case. It's interesting that he has this drug that can help him do whatever he wants. He's super, super smart, but at the same time, he needs her to still help him.
Right.
And it shows that, you know,
Women
having
are
all this
smarter.
brain power isn't everything. Sometimes you need a companion. Sometimes you just need collaboration.
Yeah. And that Brian's not perfect. Like, he's not
Right.
a superhero. He's great at what he does. He can figure things out very quickly. He's very smart.
Yeah.
But, you know, NZT only takes him so far. He definitely needs Rebecca.
And it didn't get him the girl or the ex-girlfriend. Didn't get her back.
Did not.
It's just interesting. His relationship with his father is probably not the best right now. So it's not everything.
A lot of
It
things are
seems like
crumbling.
everything, but it's not everything.
Yes,
Well,
on the
I'm
surface.
I'm sure they will
on the
explore that
surface.
more throughout the season.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, so we get the NZT files. Brian goes through them before giving them to Mr. Sands. He figures out that, you know, he's just kind of flipping through the photos and lands on Rebecca's dad. Sort of, you know, they keep intercutting Rebecca, who is finally going to her dad's art show. You know, it's revealed that he used to paint and only did like 3 canvases that were found. His former art dealer basically ambushes her on the street to tell her about it. She goes and she sees a unbelievable portrait. Very flattering. She looked awesome.
Yeah.
Let's go on.
Yeah, no,
I'd be
on the
like,
wall.
"That's
So
my
it's
face."
unmistakably her dad's work,
Right.
which is great. But we
And
also
at the
see that
same
he is a
time-
documented NZT user. So that is confirmed. I mean, I didn't really have any doubt just because of how...
I did. I said he
You
wasn't.
did?
I mean, I didn't really, but I was like, I'm going to go against everyone.
You're like, no, it was crack cocaine. I agree
Yeah,
for a fact.
exactly.
It was heroin.
It was heroin. I was thinking heroin, actually.
But do you think that, you know, because now we're starting a whole thing about people who are documented as NZT users. Do you think that the people in the beginning, all those guys, the guy at the law firm that gave it to him to begin with, do you think they were documented? Or do you think they were just recreational users that people didn't know about?
Good
No.
question.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But we didn't know that because I guess this is saying, okay, the FBI is the one who gave him the NCT, right?
Well, the
dad?
FBI knows that he was a user, whether he was sort of under their control.
Study. Wouldn't that be interesting though if he was?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I think the plot would definitely thicken if someone like Nas knew that her dad was, a test subject.
Exactly.
That would complicate things dramatically.
Right.
So we'll
they
see.
have that on her, and they know that. Like if Nas knows that,
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. And she's the only one that.
Rebecca would probably just punch her right in the face.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah.
Out. Nice.
Pistol whip.
She's a tough chick.
Nas?
She's a
yeah,
tough chick.
That's intense. I was at the end whenever she was in the art gallery and he's on the computer. It was the same overlap of like the confessional. That was kind of awesome. Mm-hmm. And as the second that she sees her picture, he sees her dad. What? It's no good. It's no good.
Yeah, no, I mean,
he didn't even know she was there at the art gallery. He doesn't even know that.
Right.
Who?
Brian didn't know she went. Right.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, why?
How would he know?
Yeah.
Yeah, how would he know? Exactly.
I wish she invited him, but I guess I'd be moving things a little too quickly.
Totally. In time.
Exactly. We have a lot more episodes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. That's intense.
Speaking of new episodes, why don't we talk about a little news and gossip?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
AFTERBUZZ TV News.
Oh, cool.
As people may have picked up from the preview for next episode, or the following few episodes that are coming up, Bradley Cooper is coming back. He is confirmed for an episode on October 27th, which is 2 weeks from now, so definitely tune into that. It's also a good show, so hopefully everybody's watching all of the episodes.
Yes.
But yeah, that's great. Bradley Cooper is definitely, a great EP for the show. It's great that he is very invested in its success, and I think that helps a lot. Yeah. Obviously, Brian can carry it as a main character, but it's nice to have that star power. He's an Academy Award nominated actor. That's
and
great.
tidbit, they were both an American Sniper together.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
We were talking about that last episode.
Sorry.
Exactly.
Sorry, everybody.
Oh, it's
No, it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, we
That's
definitely think
awesome.
that's how they met. That's not the only relationship that is reoccurring.
Yeah.
The ex-girlfriend from in this show, Brian's ex-girlfriend, is actually his real-life girlfriend.
Yeah, and I follow him on Instagram, and there's adorable pictures of them always.
No way.
So you guys should
That's
totally follow
hilarious.
him.
Nice.
It's pretty cute. It's
like-
pretty cute.
Yeah, no,
I mean, they're adorable. And they're like in New
yeah.
York together, and it's fall, and it's cute.
That's awesome.
It's cute.
Are his lips green in the picture?
His lips are not green. I don't know what
different
that's
filter,
about.
different
Yeah.
filter.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, dear. Yeah,
His
he's
lips
like,
are pretty
"We're not gonna use
normal
this
looking.
One. That's
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
He's like, slumber? No.
Yeah.
I just know that because I used it once.
Is that your go-to Instagram filter?
I don't know. I just used it last night for the first time.
Got
I was
it.
like,
Most
slumber.
recent. Gotcha.
Yes, most
Gotcha.
recent. Yep. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, I mean, maybe we'll see more from maybe she'll come back and he'll find a way to navigate a real relationship and this whole pickle situation that he's in with the FBI and Eddie Mora. But yeah, I mean, they obviously had very good chemistry together. It was
perfect.
easy to see them that they had a history, so it definitely worked pretty well.
I wonder how they cast that, truly. I wonder if it was, they saw them hanging out, and they were like, and he said, "Oh, my girlfriend's an actress. I know you're looking for this role. Bring her in." Or if it was just random. Yeah. I would love to know that. I would love to know that casting secret.
That's amazing.
If
Because
you want to tell me, CBS.
Yeah, exactly. And last week I was like, oh, this is the first time I actually felt something for someone, and it's real. Yeah. That was really the first time I said that, and I was like,
I love when there's
no,
real
why
chemistry.
is he nervous about going? He shouldn't be nervous. He shouldn't have to take NCT. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, I wasn't talking about people I go. I was talking about myself. Like, I don't know if I went on a date, I don't have to take NCT because you're already cool. You know what I mean? And Brian knows he's cool, so why does he have to take it?
He does. I mean, he was in a band, so
yeah,
he pretty much nailed your whole thing.
Yeah,
without NCT, that was pre-NCT Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, too
and
bad
he's just so freaking charming.
Too bad. You could have been whatever, Shauna. So
I could have been Shauna.
Yeah,
in my dreams.
So close.
So close.
In my dreams,
look
people.
like and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Man. That's awesome.
Perfect. Well, yeah, let's go to predictions.
I mean,
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV.
it's just the only reason it's creepy is because it's almost Halloween.
I know.
Just the
you're right.
sounds. The sounds are like.
It's very
a ghost.
festive. It's very festive.
One day
In
they're
their
gonna
fun
prank
house.
us. I know it, and they're gonna all come
Someone-
in with like ghost
There's
costumes.
like mice all over the
Boo.
floor. Catch all the rats.
All
I
right,
definitely
yeah,
think
Amanda, let's start with you. What do you think?
Rebecca and Brian together by the end of the season. Probably not, but definitely I think a kiss
You
by
don't
the end of
think
the
so?
season. Kiss by the end of the
Oh,
season,
yeah.
but
I-
probably not like in a relationship by the end of the
You
season.
don't think so? Yeah, probably not.
And then
don't know.
I think I think he's going to start even having more of these moral issues and dealing with his family. And I think that it's going to end up becoming, a huge problem. Probably by the end of the season, he's going to be in a place where he really doesn't know what to do.
I think it's gonna get really, really intense. I mean, the last clips that I saw for the upcoming episode, or maybe two episodes, were the most intense clips I think I've seen yet. And he like gets hit by a car, and then his brain's on fire.
Yes, things are escalating for Brian Finch
very
right
quickly.
now.
Yes, and I don't think he'll really have time to be like, "Hey, Rebecca, want to go out for some coffee?"
Right.
It's just going to happen. It'll probably happen in the trash.
It's intense.
Let's be honest. They'll be in the trash.
I don't know if they can be in the trash because he has to be. They're gonna stick Brian against Rebecca. That's what's gonna happen.
Oh, that's good.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for the next coming episodes. He takes NZT, Brian, and he his mind is limitless, but his situation is very limited. He can't escape the FBI for too long. He has to take NZT to get what Eddie Mora wants. And, if he stops taking that, he's not going to be smart enough to do that. And if he doesn't do what Eddie Mora wants, then he will just start to die. Literally, he will, his body will just,
Explode. No, I'm just
maybe
kidding.
not explode,
It
but
won't.
it's basically decaying. I mean, those
Yeah.
photos are super scary, worse than any known drug, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Out there. I mean, it's
Right.
going to be very interesting to see that. Obviously,
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper comes back, so I'm excited to see that cameo.
And-
Although he's kind of blackmailing him to do what he wants, I feel like Bradley Cooper's not a bad guy. Just a vibe I'm getting. They've never really pushed him so far that it was like, steal these documents so we can get money. It was kind of just, let's figure out. It's more informational based.
Yeah.
Right.
So that
Well,
Eddie
he
Moore can do
says-
what he wants to do.
Eddie Moore says to him, "You've just seen all the bad stuff that
Right.
that we do, but you haven't seen any of the good
Exactly. Necessary evils.
stuff." Right.
And there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, obviously, to keep society running the way that it should. So I really want them to pull the curtain back with that. I want to see sort of what huge
motives
moves
are.
that Eddie Moore is making. And what, why he needs all this information.
Right.
What is he doing, on global scales
Right.
where literally
But I
countries
think
and
Brian is going to
civilizations are
know.
at
Well, he
risk.
already does. Brian already knows a lot of stuff about Rebecca now that she doesn't even know herself, and she can't. He probably won't be able to tell her, and that's going to get intense, I think, because he's going to
Very
have to be stuck against his best friend, basically, or one of them.
And
One of the people
possible
he tried.
future romance.
Oh,
Right.
it's happening. If it doesn't
I definitely
happen,
think so.
I don't know.
Unless he
We should
has
bet
to
money
kill
or
her.
something because it's happening.
Well, no, I want it to happen. I think it will happen. I just hope it doesn't happen too soon. I think there's so much to play with in this show. There's a lot of different areas to explore that we don't need that necessarily right now. Even in the whole season 1, I feel like there's so much with everybody's backstory, Bradley Cooper's situation. And there's a lot of season-long story arcs that we can accomplish before we get into romantic interests between the main characters.
That's what I'm
Just my
interested in.
opinion.
Sorry.
Instead of one true.
Besides-
For the love, Amanda. I like
Besides
it.
the NZT.
Ready
Fair
for
enough.
I like
It's
the
just the
chemistry.
drugs for me.
Seventh
Sorry.
heaven.
You're all about the
I'm all
drugs.
about
I'm all
the
about the
NZT.
love. We could be in the 70s together.
Nice, there we go.
Yes.
Well, we will have to wait and see till next week. Until then, where can the good people find you guys?
You can find me at AmandaFTA31. That's Amanda FTA31. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Sorry.
At Emily Kraudel on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Thank you.
Nice. And you guys can find me at JB_Zimmerman on Twitter and Instagram. And please tune in next week. We have a special guest, director from the show,
So cool.
Joshua Butler. So definitely tune in next week.
So exciting. Awesome. Peace.
Thank you,
Bye,
guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.